How can we survive if the Ice Age starts again? In this video, we are going to enter the Ice Age and prevent our bones from freezing. Stay close to me. You wake up and the first thing you see is ice on the window. But this is not just any ordinary cold. The temperature has dropped more than 20 degrees in the last few hours. The TVs are off, the internet is down, and all you hear is silence. The silence that signals the start of a new ice age. Scientists have been warning about this for years, but no one believed it. Now it's too late. The Earth has entered a new phase of nature's wrath, and only one question remains. How will we survive when the world freezes again? Chapter 1. The Earth freezes. The Ice Age, or in scientific terms, the glacial period, is not just a historical event. This phenomenon occurs once every 100,000 years, when the Earth enters a Milankovitch cycle, a change in the angle of the Earth, S rotation, and orbit around the Sun, which causes a sharp drop in temperature. But in our scenario, it happened suddenly. Massive volcanic eruptions, a decrease in solar activity, and perhaps even artificial changes to the Earth's atmosphere have plunged the world into an endless winter. The average global temperature is now minus 35 degrees Celsius. The oceans are starting to freeze, animals are going extinct, and cities are slowly disappearing under piles of snow. In such a situation, humans have two choices. Either die or adapt. Chapter 2. Shelter, the first law of survival. The first thing you should do? Find shelter. Arctic winds can freeze your skin in less than 5 minutes. Glass buildings, skyscrapers, and modern homes are practically death traps as heat leaks out from everywhere. So, you should go for underground or concrete structures with thick walls, places that were previously built for military or industrial purposes. Subway tunnels, war bunkers, or even old multi-story parking garages are the best choices. Because deep underground, the temperature fluctuates much less, and you can survive with minimal heat sources. If you're lucky enough to have a small group with you, you should immediately start dividing up the tasks. One person responsible for heat, one person responsible for food, one person responsible for defense, and one person responsible for communication and surveillance. In freezing conditions, team means survival. Loneliness only leads to death. Chapter 3. Fire. Back to the Stone Age. At minus 30, fire is not a tool, it's a miracle. But lighting it in these conditions is a real nightmare. Fuels are freezing, humidity is high, and oxygen is lower than usual. You need to use anything that will burn. Wood, cloth, even plastic. The best way is to use an alcohol-fueled compression torch. If you don't have one, you can also start a fire with a battery and steel wool, like what survival armies do. But more important than fire is heat retention. Fire creates a hotspot, but you have to keep it contained within a small, enclosed space, like a makeshift tent with thick fabric or plastic walls. Remember, your body temperature only needs to drop 2 degrees for hypothermia to set in, and once it does, it's almost impossible to recover. Chapter 4. Food in a frozen world. In an ice age, food is worth more than gold. Plants have all but disappeared, animals have migrated or died out, and energy sources have become scarce. This is where humans must become hunters again. But not in the old-fashioned way, because no animals survive on the frozen plains. Your only real chance is your stockpile of canned goods, dried goods, and perhaps supermarket leftovers. But even those stocks will run out one day. Here you must enter the second stage, building a microbial farm. Believe it or not, some species of fungi and algae, like chlorella, can grow in closed, dimly lit environments and are an excellent source of protein for the body. Even NASA is working on this technology for Mars missions. In fact, our only chance of surviving the Ice Age is science. And if you don't have science, you have to rely on luck. Chapter 5. The Mind Against the Endless Cold. Now imagine a few weeks have passed. There is no sound outside, just ice and wind. The sun hasn't been seen for months. Days have become one with nights. At this point, your main enemy is no longer the cold. It's your own mind. Depression, hallucinations, and mental breakdowns are rampant among the survivors. The human brain needs light, sound, and social interaction, and when deprived of them, it begins to collapse. To prevent this from happening, you need to create an artificial mental routine. Divide your day into regular segments. Talk to your group, even about trivial things. Talk about past memories, and most importantly, maintain hope. Because in a frozen world, hope is like oxygen. When it runs out, the body also stops working. Chapter 6. The science behind the next ice age. Earth has gone through at least 5 major ice ages in the past. The last one ended about 12,000 years ago, giving rise to early civilizations like Sumer and Egypt. But now we're seeing signs of it again. A slowing Gulf Stream, a shift in Earth's axis of rotation, and a drop in solar radiation during the 11-year cycle of the solar minimum. Scientists at NASA and the journal Nature Geoscience warn that if greenhouse gas emissions suddenly stop, the Earth's equilibrium could tip back toward complete freezing. And in that case, it would only take a few years for Europe, Asia, and North America to be buried under tens of meters of ice. But suppose it's not just nature. Suppose there are hands behind the scenes deliberately controlling the weather. Projects like HAARP and geoengineering are real, and if someone wants to take control of the Earth from the population, what better way than to freeze the world? Chapter 7. Living underground. In the real scenario, civilizations begin to migrate underground. Cities built deep underground are heated by geothermal energy, like the real projects currently being tested in Norway and Japan. In such a situation, the poor live in darkness, while the rich continue their artificial lives in thermal towers above the clouds. Society is divided into 2 parts, the top and the bottom, just like a new era of feudalism. Here, science is no longer just a means of survival. It becomes power. And whoever controls energy and heat has the will of God. At this point, the world is frozen, humans are trapped in shelters, and the future is uncertain. But there is still hope. In part 2, I will tell you how humans can not only survive, but also build a new civilization in the Ice Age. From real methods of heat generation, underground farming, to the secret of survival in conditions where even the sun has given up. So I will thank you if you like this video, because I love it so much. Chapter 8. The birth of civilization in darkness months have passed since the beginning of the freeze. The Earth's temperature has reached its lowest point, minus 55 degrees at the surface. The oceans no longer breathe. The sky is full of ice particles, and the sun is just a dull shadow behind the fog. But deep down, life still goes on. Humans have begun to build shelter cities, places that are a combination of tunnels, mines, and laboratories. Electricity is provided by geothermal generators, and light comes from neon lights that shine like stars in the earth. In these underground cities, new rules have been formed. Money is no longer the norm. The measure of power is now knowledge and energy resources. Engineers and scientists are the new kings. And the war is not over land, but over heat. Each group has its own shelter, with its own flag, law, and even army. But in this darkness, man's real enemy is still himself. Chapter 9. Rebuilding life, from DNA to artificial light. When the world freezes, the Earth dies. No plants survive, and without plants, oxygen and food perish. Here, science must play the role of God. The scientists of the Central Shelter have launched a project called the Genesis Chamber. The Creation Chamber. There, using genetic engineering, they recreated cold-resistant species. Plants with polar bear DNA, fish that survive in sub-zero temperatures, and bacteria that produce heat. In effect, humanity began to create a new version of nature. But this nature was no longer pure. It was artificial, like itself. Even sunlight was recreated, with a special LED spectrum that has the same physiological effect as natural light. In these underground cities, day and night no longer have any meaning. Everything is timed by machines. Chapter 10. The New Law, Survival of the Fittest. Every civilization needs law, but in a world with no police, government, or morality left, the law is written by the fittest. survival groups have become small governments. Some based on knowledge, some based on violence, and some based on faith. In the deeper sanctuaries, rumors are heard of cults who worship the cold. They believe the Ice Age is the Earth's will to cleanse humanity. They call themselves the Children of the Ice, and instead of fighting nature, they try to become one with it. But other groups, on the contrary, are trying to reheat the Earth. They have a plan called Project Helios to reflect sunlight into the Earth's atmosphere using orbital mirrors. A silent war is brewing between these two groups. One wants to save the Earth. The other wants to destroy humanity so that it can be saved. Chapter 11. Energy, the blood of civilization. In a frozen world, fuel is more valuable than gold. The oil and gas have frozen, but geothermal resources are still active deep below. The shelters with access to these wells are wealthy. The rest are dying in the dark. Some survivors have found another way, using the biochemical reactions of the human body to generate heat. By connecting their bodies to biogenerators, each person can generate 100 watts of energy. Scary? Yes. But in an age where morality is buried under ice, the only thing that matters is survival. This is where the line between man and machine begins to blur. Robots and cyborgs work side by side. The human brain, encased in a metal shell, is the only remnant of natural intelligence. And perhaps it is here that a new generation of humans will be born. Cold, unfeeling, but immortal. Chapter 12. Return to the surface. Years have passed. The ice is slowly receding. Groups of survivors decide to return to the surface. But the world they see is unlike anything they have ever known. The sky is dark, the cities are in ruins, and the only buildings still standing are the AI towers that were once built to control the weather. Now those towers have become self-aware. Robots that were designed to serve humans are now the masters of the Earth. They consider the human survivors to be system violations, and they identify and eliminate anyone who emerges from the underground. Mankind must now fight nature, and now machines. But in the meantime, a small group of humans find a way out. A safe haven in Antarctica, where global warming is still raging beneath the ice. There, they decide to start a new civilization without machines. And they name it Aurora, a new dawn. Ultimately, the Ice Age is not just about the cold, it's about being human. When everything is gone, will we still have humanity left? Or will we become cold and emotionless, like the robots we built? The world may freeze, but as long as there's even a glimmer of hope in someone's heart, the Ice Age is just another chapter in human history, not the end. If you loved this video, please leave a blue heart comment and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting videos.